Because travelers are often reaching out to me about planning their trips to Iceland, I hear over and over the same mistakes that people are making when they are in the stages of trying to figure out when's best to come, what to see, different seasons, and making some of these rookie mistakes is actually what ends up costing them money, their time, and maybe even the ability to see some of their bucket list items that they wanted to check off. So to make sure it doesn't happen to you, I'm going to share 3 common rookie mistakes that you can avoid in order to have an epic adventure here in Iceland. For those who are new here, my name is Jules, and I've been living in Iceland since 2016, traveling around the country for the last 9.5 years, and helping people plan amazing adventures in the country since 2018. And if you've seen my videos before or you're a subscriber, welcome back. Always lovely to have you here. Now let's jump into these rookie mistakes. The first and biggest one is overloading your itinerary, trying to squish in as many things as you possibly can in the day, and potentially not being able to do all those things because time is a restraint, but also exhausting yourself and you're not even being able to enjoy the travel and the time that's here. While Iceland looks small on the map, it can take quite a long time to be able to get to certain parts of the country. Let's just say you want to go from Reykjavik all the way to the beautiful Stöðvargil Canyon in East Iceland. That is more than a 7-hour drive one way, which means you would spend a lot of your time in the car. If you wanted to stop in between, of course, that adds on more time to when you could see this place if you were trying to get there in a day, is what I'm trying to say. So overloading your itinerary can definitely derail your trip because you're not strategically planning out your days, and also potentially not even considering that staying in other parts of the country rather than just in Reykjavik would help you be able to do and see so much more given the time that you're here. Another rookie mistake that costs people a lot of money actually is booking your accommodations too late. This is a hurtful one for many people who don't realize that the peak of summer in Iceland, when there's the most amount of people who are visiting, if you're not planning 6 months, even a year in advance for your accommodations, you could end up maybe not finding anything in the area that you want to stay in, or paying extreme amounts of money, $500 a night, $1,000 a night, easily, in accommodations that are pretty basic, only because that's what's left and people know that they can charge that. Whereas planning in advance, knowing that these peak seasons or even like New Year's, that's a big time for people to visit as well. So like certain occasions, certain times of the year where booking in advance works to your advantage because you can get the best potential deals, do that. Now, I have to say, off season versus the high season, you still pay more money, but you'll pay a lot less if you end up booking much earlier. And for anybody trying to come during the solar eclipse of 2026, just know that things are booked up like crazy. It doesn't mean you can't find anything, but be aware that if you're thinking about that, people have already been booking earlier in 2025 for that. So it doesn't hurt to look now, but manage your expectations around that. Another rookie mistake is not being flexible with your plans. I know it is hard when you only have a set amount of days in which you can visit a country, but Iceland is one of those places that part of the adventure is that things might have to change. I mean, there's a saying here, like it's not the national motto, but it might as well be, "Þetta rettast," which is it'll all work out in the end. And that's because there's so many varying conditions in terms of course, the weather, but things happen just in general. And in this country, we just go like, all right, we'll figure it out, do the best we can. But having a backup is very much helpful. And yes, it will all work out in the end, but maybe not the way that we had necessarily planned it. Does that mean that all of your plans will go to poop? No, definitely not. Is there a possibility that that can happen on certain days? Yes. Because of our varying weather, throughout the day, you can have what feels like different seasons, rain, wind, snow, sunshine. In the summertime, of course, is not the case, and necessarily you get snow, but it can happen. much more rare, but it can happen. And so it's just really helpful to be flexible. And what flexibility looks like for you might be that, okay, if I'm coming in the wintertime, I know that there are road conditions that can be icy, there can be snowstorms, there might be certain areas that I plan to go to, like South Iceland, let's just say, but there's a yellow or red warning and they tell you don't go in this area. Then maybe stay in Reykjavik and make your plans that way, or go to another region of the country. For some people, that sounds really frustrating, understandably, but like I said, that is part of the adventure in Iceland, and embracing that actually makes it so that if things work out perfectly throughout your trip, it's like, wow, that's awesome. But if things have to change, at least you know that this is something that you have already thought about and can make the adjustments if necessary. These are only some of the rookie mistakes that I see people make all the time, whether it's I'm watching their videos or I'm hearing about their travel stories. And so in order to help you not be in this position where you are confused about how best to optimize your time, come in the certain season in which you want to see things, and just overall enjoy your adventure the best way possible, I am hosting the live Iceland trip planning workshop. Cuts through all the clutter, no need to read through all the blogs and whatever else, trying to know what works for planning a trip, because I've worked with hundreds of people in consultations, private consultations in particular, and I have a proven framework that I'll be using and sharing in this live Iceland trip planning workshop that you can utilize to plan your own personalized trip according to your wants and needs. The Iceland trip planning workshop is 60 minutes, and during that time, you'll learn what really matters for planning your trip to Iceland, walk away with the ability to build your own personalized 5-day itinerary regardless of the season that you plan to visit in. You'll have access to me live, where you'll get insider tips from someone who has been living and traveling around Iceland for the last 9.5 years, so a local expert. You'll leave with a clear, actionable plan that you can use right away. And at the end of the workshop, there is a live question and answer session, so you can come with all the questions that you have, and I'll do my best to answer all those in order for you to feel as confident and excited about planning your trip to Iceland and not overwhelmed. The link to the workshop is below, and for everybody who grabs their seat for this Iceland trip planning workshop, will also get a replay of the live workshop for up to 16 days. But for those who show up live, you'll be entered automatically for a giveaway at the end of the workshop. So after the Q&A, in which you can win some Iceland related prizes. I'm excited to share what those will be during the workshop, in the beginning of the workshop, as well as a 15% discount code for my Iceland map, which has over 300 of my personal recommendations, including hidden gems, all around the country. So that discount code will be sent to you once you grab your seat. And if you're one of the first 50 people to register for the Iceland trip planning workshop, you'll get a code to save 15% on the workshop itself, which I've made at an affordable price because I want people all different types of budgets to be able to utilize and have this information for planning their trip. You can use my code SAVE15 in order to get that discount right away. But I will tell you, I have been sharing this code and there's already a lot of people who have been using it. So make sure you grab it and utilize that code so you can save that 15%. Otherwise, it's just the regular price going forward for anyone who's after the number of 50 people who utilize the Save 15 code for the live Iceland trip planning workshop. So the link to the workshop is in the description. You can check that out below and utilize it to be able to save your time, your sanity, and plan your Iceland adventure the smart way. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope these rookie mistakes help you just initially with being able to know what to avoid as you're planning your trip. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.